I mean, action cameras nowadays are not just for action, they're also meant for vlogging. And I mean, come on, if you can do this to a camera, then it's definitely meant to be used as a vlogging camera. But how does this Ace Pro 2 from Insta360 compare to, well, the DJI Pocket 3? I mean, this is a dedicated vlogging camera and this is an action camera that you can use for vlogging. So which one is better? Let's go. Okay, so let's start off first with the video quality. Here is a side-by-side comparison of the Ace Pro 2 versus the DJI Pocket 3. And I do have to mention that the Ace Pro 2 is recording with 8K 25 frames per second, whereas on the Pocket 3 I'm recording with 4K 25 frames per second. And the really cool thing is that, well, this is an 8K camera, so it does capture detail much more detailed, but from what I've seen, this really only works if there is enough light. Now, the moment you start to go into a darker place, that's where that really big sensor, well, it's not that really big, but it is a bigger, more capable sensor on the Pocket 3 that captures much more light and detail where there isn't any. And I think it's quite clear that the Pocket 3 looks much better, but there is one more advantage, and that all comes down to stabilization. So let's talk about stabilization next. Now, if you're going to do action shots where you're gonna mount your camera to your helmet, go down with the mountain bike, or just jump around and shake the camera violently, well, then this is going to be the answer, because here you have a mechanical stabilized camera with a gimbal, and you also have autofocus. So this camera autofocuses, and for vlogging, that's actually really good because you're always going to be in focus if you're talking to the camera. Here, however, you're going to have to hold the camera pretty far away in order to be in focus. This is now a direct comparison with some skin tones and some really weird high dynamic range stuff happening in the back. Oh, having trouble keeping me in frame. This one is much wider and this one is really tight. So, but I am in focus and the background is out of focus, where here, if I put this closer, I mean, the background's gonna be in focus and I'm not gonna be. So let's do a comparison with that as well. This one gives you a blurry background and a sharp face, and this one gives you a sharp background and a blurry face. So for vlogging type situations, this is definitely a winner. And there's a few more benefits of having a gimbal. Now that is something I would never do with the Osmo Pocket 3 because, well, this is weather resistant and this is well, not, because it has a gimbal. Now, the obvious one is that, well, you're recording the video after it's being stabilized mechanically, whereas on action cameras, you're recording a shaky video and the camera stabilizes it afterwards. Now, why is that important? Well, if you want to use ND filters like I have over here, and you want to stabilize the shutter speed all the way down to that 1/50th of a second cinematic, motion blur shutter, well, then it's really important that the camera is stabilized mechanically. Otherwise, you're going to capture the motion blur of the shaking of the camera, and that's going to show up in a stabilized video. So if you don't have a gimbal, you're recording all of the shakes and they're visible once the video is stable, which makes it look really weird because the video appears to be stable, but the highlights are flickering in the back, which, well, makes it look really weird. Here, this will not happen because the camera is mechanically stabilized before the video is recorded. So it makes a lot of sense to use ND filters on this camera than on this Ace Pro 2 and pretty much every other action cameras, because they all suffer of the same problem. They require a fast shutter speed to give you a nice smoothed out, stabilized video. Now it's getting windy. I'm using the microphone muff on the Ace Pro 2. Here again is just the audio from the internal microphone. I know that if I was to use the external microphone with a dead cat, it would be much better. But yeah, this is as windy as I can make it. The Insta360 Ace Pro 2 does have a very special feature over here, and this is this foamy element that covers the microphone. It's like an additional piece, and it covers the microphone in order to reduce wind noise, and it does a pretty good job, especially if you pair it with the voice enhancement AI algorithm, which really makes your voice stand out if it's noisy. And in terms of wind performance, this outperforms the Pocket 3 by a mile. So if you're using internal microphones here and it's a windy situation, well, this is going to do a much better job compared to this, and it also keeps your voice very, very clean, which is quite an amazing thing that this camera does. I mean, I was really blown away by this feature, and I think it's like the best voice isolation algorithm that I've ever heard on an action camera, or pretty much any other camera. But this guy also has a trick up its sleeve, and that is, well, you can use an external microphone. Okay, so how about the wind noise reduction now with an external microphone? I think the Pocket 3 has the edge here, to be completely honest, because a dead cat is always going to be better than any sort of electronic AI voice enhancements. I mean, I could be wrong, I haven't actually heard how this sounds. Whew. Now, if you buy the Creator Combo package of the DJI Pocket 3, you get a DJI Mic 2, and this guy comes with a dead cat. Now, this is literally always going to be better in windy situations than any other noise isolation, wind, AI recording, algorithm, video, audio stuff, because it physically blocks the sound of the wind, and it does a really good job. And the cool thing is that you can pair two of these microphones with the Pocket 3 simultaneously, and it can also be used as a recorder. So you have a record button here, and this thing records 32-bit float audio, which is like a really high dynamic range audio. So you can whisper or you can scream, and you're not going to peak in either way. Well, just on the very loud side. But I do have to mention that the Pocket 2 can also connect with this, and it's a really cool thing considering that these two brands are rivals, but you can connect your DJI Mic 2 or any other Bluetooth external microphone to the Ace Pro 2. So it's a benefit for the Pocket 3 because it comes with this microphone, but this can also have the same solution. So technically it's not a win for the Pocket 3. I still think the audio is much better on the Ace Pro 2 because of the internal processing things that it does, but I am very used to using an external microphone, and I'm actually always recording on the microphone because of that, well, better audio quality. Okay, so some final thoughts on the topic. If you want to do daily vlogging that doesn't include any action sports or water, then I would definitely recommend the DJI Pocket 3, since it is a better camera and more suited for vlogging. It's a vlogging dedicated camera. But if your daily life includes, well, water, action sports, or you just want to have something to put in the pocket and gives you a good looking video straight out of the camera with some really good audio, well, then the Ace Pro 2 is a much better choice, and you can take this to the pool, to the seaside, and well, you're not going to be worried that the camera is going to, well, be damaged or stop working. So it really does come down to the use case. Personally, for my videos, I find the Pocket 3 to be, well, better because I can track myself with a gimbal, and well, I don't do a lot of action stuff, but I would never take this out skiing or, any sort of watery, endeavors. So anyway, let me know down below what you guys think. If you have any comments, also leave that down below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hit the like button for the algorithm. It really helps. And if you want to stay on the channel and watch last week's video, then I'll watch this one over here. Thank you, and I'll see you in this one. Bye bye.